Just a second. Yes. So, hi everyone. Good morning. Thank you so much for joining us on the Saturday morning. Really appreciate it. And as you can see on the camera, today we have Anirudh Chawla with us from AWS, who is an analytics specialist solutions architect. And in this session, okay, in this session, we are going to learn preparing, managing, and optimizing our data pipelines to enable the GenAI workloads, basically using the latest SageMaker compatibilities. So SageMaker is an AI/ML service offering from AWS, and we are going to leverage that today. Also, Anirudh is going to be walking us through some scenarios, best practices, and demos to help us, accelerate the model development and deployment. So it's going to be really helpful, and looking forward to learning something new. And I hope we are ready, Anirudh, and over to you. We can definitely start, and um, recording is anyways on. Yep.
Okay, so thank you so much, everyone. My name is Anirudh Chavla. I am an analytics specialist SA at AWS, based out of Gurgaon. So first of all, thank you for taking time over the weekend to learn about the new SageMaker Unified Studio and perform a hands-on workshop as well, where we'll work on a business use case during this workshop. So before going into the workshop, I want to spend a couple of minutes on an introduction of the SageMaker Unified Studio before we dive deep into the actual business use case. So SageMaker Unified Studio is a single data and an AI development environment where you can actually find and access all of your data in your organization and act on it using the best tools across any business use case that you have. The purpose to build SageMaker Unified Studio, it was a unified development experience that we can bring together with the data, analytics, artificial intelligence, and the machine learning services that are available. So technically, it's providing you a place to you can build, deploy, execute, and monitor all your workflows from a single interface. So technically, all the phases of a data development lifecycle or a lifecycle to build a product where you are looking to build something, deploy it in an environment, execute it, consume the data, observability in the platform, and all this collaboration across the teams to facilitate a agile development method. Now, from within the studio, what you can do is you can find, access, and query your data and AI assets across your organization. So not just limited to few people, just across organization that you can, and where people can work actually with projects, securely build and share your analytics and your AI artifacts. And that includes your data, your models as well, and your GenAI application. So when I'm speaking about models, they're the traditional ML models that we are talking about. So previously it was that these things were segregated, isolated. But now what we're trying to do is build everything into one single place for users to not have to navigate, and they don't have to navigate across multiple places to do the same task. So the workshop which we are going to do will simulate a real world scenario through we are looking for a lens of a data professional addressing actual business challenges. At the end, you would be able to do the complete cycle of an analysis and deploy a GenAI powered targeted marketing campaign that will do. Now, with this, I will share a link with you. I would request you to please disable any VPNs if you have on your laptop, and then use that link to join the workshop. Okay, just allow me a second. I'll share the link on the Google chat. So here's the link. I would request you to please open it into a new browser. I'll just stop my video just from the bandwidth constraints, but I will share my screen along with you to do that. So please open this link. Okay, 1 second.
Anirudh, are you sharing your screen?
I'm just starting to share it. Just give me.
Okay, no problem. So guys, please find the link for the workshop studio in the chat, Google chat, and we are going to perform all the actions today on that particular workshop.
Okay, is my screen visible to all?
Yes.
Yeah, Anuj, you have raised your hand. Please go on.
No, no, nothing. Sorry, it's a mistake. Go on, please.
Okay, no problem. Okay, on this page, whether you have a builder ID or you have your employee, I request you to please select the email one-time password. Please click on email one-time password here and provide your email. Just provide that email for which you can get the email right now on your laptop, because you would require to sign in to an account and we would require your. So I'll just use my own email. Please, for yourself, just use an email where you can get the email right now on your laptop. Now this will send a passcode to your email.
It is going in spam, the email. So please check the
Okay,
spam. Yeah.
thank you very much. Okay, so I have received my, and once you get that, please click on sign in. Scroll down and click on agree term and conditions and click on join event. And you should have this community studio page. So I'll wait for a minute for everybody to reach to this point. I'll just pin this message so we can. Yeah, Anuj, please go on.
Yeah. Meanwhile, people are signing. So, just want to know this unified studio is
Mhm.
different from the older SageMaker studio, or it's the same one? Like I used
Yes.
it a couple of years back, like 2, 3 years back. So it's the same thing, or it's a
No, no, it is a different thing. So what you were doing with the SageMaker was specifically around, I think, ML use cases, right?
yes, yes, yes.
But this is a collab, but this is a unified interface which has all the tools that you have in the data space, all the tools from the AI space, GenAI works for Bedrock as well for
Okay.
GenAI application development,
Mhm.
along with an extra features that we have added into this, which
Okay.
includes a lake house, a SageMaker catalog. We'll discuss on that, but
Okay.
this is not the same. It's much more
Advanced.
advanced than
Okay.
just the SageMaker UI.
Good. Thank you. Thank you, Amit.
Yeah, sure. Okay, I believe everybody has reached to this point. If you are facing an issue, please let me know. Okay, I'll wait for another 1 minute. If someone is having any concern, please let me know.
So to those who are not receiving the passcode, please try checking the spam because it might be going to your spam folder. Also, throughout the session, if you guys have any questions or any doubts, please let Anirudh know. Raise your hand, ask questions. Please do not hesitate. Thank you so much.
Vishal, were you able to get the passcode now? Okay, thank you. Okay, so let's go forward. So at here, there will be two important things that you will take from this. One is your AWS console. So I would request you to please copy this link and paste it in a sorry, just and paste it in a new tab because this will be the AWS account that you will be using in. Please do not use your own AWS account because once the workshop is deployed, there are certain assets and data sets that it creates for you in the backend and permissions that it grants. So if you're doing it on your own account, it will be difficult because those permissions would not be there right now. So please have two pages. So the first page we'll use is for the instructions here, and all the instructions would be in the sections I'll do along with you. But whatever I'll be speaking, it will be from these instructions that you already have. And the second page, please have it in your as the AWS account where you will be performing these steps. So just everybody's line. Can we go? Can we start? Just you can give a thumbs up in the chat or just say yes, so we can go with the first.
I know this account ID is different, right? I saw you have starting with 4.
Everyone will have a
It's a
different
unique.
account.
Okay.
It's a unique ID.
All right. All right.
Okay, great. So let's start. So the first step, this is after the initial introduction of the SageMaker Unified Studio, we will go on to first login into the prerequisite step that would be required. Now in this step, what we are doing is we are disabling multi-factor authentication. We do not recommend to do that in production. This is only from the workshop perspective, just to avoid a second factor authentication because everybody might not have the Microsoft Authenticator or Google Authenticator there. So we'll just disable the multi-factor authentication. As I said, everything that I'll be doing is already a part of the instructions, but I'll follow along. So first on the AWS console, type Identity Center IDC. On the right hand side, you will have settings. So click on settings. There in the second tab in the middle, you will have authentication. Under multi-factor authentication, click on configure. And here under MFA settings, under prompt users for MFA, click never disable. So as I said, we are only doing this for the workshop. We do not recommend anybody to do this in their production account. Security is always number one. And click on save changes. Okay. Now after that, we will search for. I'll show from whichever section I'm using the instructions. Type SageMaker. And select the first one, not the SageMaker AI, but the Amazon SageMaker. Okay, in here, on the left pane, on the left, you will see 3 bars. Here, click on those and just select domains. Now, what is exactly a domain here? So, and after that, click on setup first. So 3 bars on the left, click on domains and set up your, sorry, apologies, in the identity center domain, click on create domain. Now think of domain as an organizing entity that could be in your organization. So let's say HR is one of the domains or finance is one of the domains. So domain, we are using domains to bring together people of the same organization entity where they can work on projects and work on their data, on the specific data from their domain. Indeed, you can share across domains, but think of a domain as just like a organizing entity in your organization, in your current organization or whichever organization you work. And here, first of all, so click on quick setup. We let the quick setup as a default one. So this is what we will select. Just double down the quick setup settings. And here you have a domain name. You can change the domain name or keep it as default. The next step, all the roles that would be required to perform actions from this domain or create this domain, they would be created for you for the first time that you're using it. You can click on view permission details to view the permissions AWS is using, which will always be fine-grained access. And right now, for this workshop, please just don't change the settings. Let the system defaults be. So it will automatically create that for you. It will require a VPC because all the tools that we'll be using will be used from inside the VPC with private subnets. And as you scroll down, there will be onboard your data optional. For this workshop, please uncheck this. The purpose of this box is that AWS has a service called AWS Glue for those who are not aware about it, which will help you to catalog your data. So Glue has a component called AWS Glue Catalog. It catalogs your metadata for the data that would be stored in your, for an example, your data lake, which is Amazon S3. So for this workshop, just unchecking it. But if you have data that's already cataloged in your Glue catalog, you can directly get this into your lakehouse, which is an amalgamation of data lakes and a data warehouse technically. We'll discuss again more on it. But for this workshop, please uncheck it, click continue, and here provide the email address. So this is an email address where your account would be created in an IAM Identity Center. So IAM Identity Center is a way where you can authenticate and authorize applications for your organization and provides you an SSO-based login. You can also be using your own identity management system, like something like an Okta, which you can integrate with your IAM Identity Center, and you can use that from an authentication perspective. So here, provide the email ID where you can get that email. So I would and click on create domain. Okay. This will send you an email on your personal email where you get a chance where it will say that add yourself to the organization. I repeat these steps. We clicked on the three bars, clicked on domain, created an IAM Identity Center domain. We had just kept all the settings as default, unchecked the Glue onboarding data, and then click next. And here we are providing the user details to create an IAM Identity Center user. You should get an email like with a subject invitation to join AWS IAM Identity Center.
A quick question that for me
Yeah.
it is that setup Amazon SageMaker Unified Studio domain instead of create.
Sorry, which part, please? Can you explain that again?
So I search SageMaker in the console.
Mm-hmm.
It's showing get started. I am not able to see the exact menu like create a Unified Studio domain.
Can you just share your screen, please?
Yeah, sure. It's my
Yeah, I
screen is
can see it.
yeah.
Yes, please.
So
Okay. Yeah. Yeah. Click on the first one. See the three bars on the left, on the very left, extreme left. Click on that. Click domains.
okay.
Click on IAM under Identity Center based domain. Click on create domain. Rest settings you can keep as it is.
Mhm,
In yeah, just drop down, just go through the settings once. So there are multiple roles that would be created for you,
mhm.
which will be required for this workshop and in general as well. And these are all fine-grained access control. So please scroll down. The VPC is already created for you. Click on onboard your data. Yeah, uncheck this box, AWS Glue. Yeah, yeah. Click continue and provide your email address where you'll get an email right now to join an IAM Identity Center domain. Yeah, you may unshare now. It's okay.
Okay, okay, thank you.
Yeah. Okay, I hope people who are able to proceed ahead from that point, have you got the emails now for to join an identity center? So you'll get an email like this here in your inbox. Click on accept invitation. So it will provide you the details to enter a password. So I'll just use some dummy. So use some dummy password and click set new password. And it will take you to this page. So for now, please close this page. We do not require to proceed from at this point. We will do it directly from the domain page itself. Once your password is set, close it and come back to this page of the domain page. Okay, so our domain is now created. Just close it. Let's explore a bit about the domains here. Yes, exactly. It's possible to have. So if you see here, this is the studio URL that is created, and this is specific for your domain itself. And the best part is this URL sits outside your AWS account. So if you're giving access to someone whom you want them to just consume data and not enter your AWS account specifically, you can just share them this URL because this is the public URL that they can use in and work on the data access that you will provide to them being a data producer, and they do not have to enter your AWS account.
So how the authentication will happen for him? Let's say I want to share with a team who do not have a AWS console access, right? Or so how we will provide the access for him for this domain?
Okay, so if you are providing access to the domain, that is through the SSO access. So as we had created a user and identity center, you will have your own, or your organization will have your own authentication system. So through that only you will be able to provide them the access. There are at this SageMaker Use Studio, you have either an IAM user that you can create, like which could be a local user, or you can create something in the authentication service, the SSO authentication service. So based on your organization setup, that's how the access would be provided.
No, you mentioned this is a public URL, right? This one, which we are seing, right?
Indeed.
This will only be accessible if user has the AWS access, right?
No. As I was saying that this URL is public, but you have two methods of authentication, either with an SSO or with an IAM. But there has to be some level of access that you have to provide at the IAM level or at the SSO level.
Yeah, that's what I was asking. Thank you.
Yeah, it's just that they do not have to federate into your AWS account inside and then sign into this URL. That's the difference.
Okay.
For folks who have, I hope everybody has reached this point. So let's study a bit about domains here. First, as I had explained about the URL, and here first part is the user management here. So this is the user which I have used to create my own domain, and for other users that you would like to add, you would be able to select either users, IAM users, or groups. So let's say, as I said, it's coming from your organization, so that you have your users managed in the identity center. So all you would have to do is just add SSO users and group, and you would be able to add a user. So here we have some groups that is created. So you can just select them and add it. This will give them the access to the domain. Indeed, we can have fine-grained access to what they can do in this account, but to get that user at least login into this SSO URL, you can have them user added here. Then you have the root domain owner. Think of this as the most powerful user who will have access to the most top level domain unit to create the policies there. So policies, as I mentioned, it could be that I add XYZ, and what permission do I provide to XYZ would be by the root domain owner. If you have like multiple admins, so you can have multiple admins here. But this section root domain is only for the admin users. Now, it's in a production setup. It's not that your development UAT prod will sit in the same AWS account. So you would require to associate your account with multiple other AWS accounts, because you would be doing a data sharing, or there would be cross account access in a real world scenario. So here you can add the account ID for your, if you have an organization RAM share. So these are a little bit of advanced concepts if you have extensively used AWS, but think of it as an AWS organization where you have main account and sub accounts, and you're using resource access management to share your data. So for a cross account, you will enter the 12-digit account ID and click on request association. So that person and that account will get a request to join this. And any other accounts that are sitting outside of your organization. So if you're not maintaining your hierarchy in organization, you will provide the account ID here. Now, after this, there is something called as Blueprint. Now, think of Blueprint as AWS services that you will access when you would be logging into the studio and creating a project, and then selecting a project profile. This is one of the most granular thing with the SageMaker Unified Studio, because you basically can select what access you want to give it to each project. So here you can see 12 blueprints. And what is each blueprint doing? One of the blueprints says, okay, I will have an EMR on EC2 cluster. For someone who is not aware about an EMR, so Amazon EMR is one of the places where you can run big data applications at scale. So it is an implementation of the Hadoop, Apache Hadoop platform that you can use in and on AWS. If you want to have EMR serverless or a lakehouse database, so you can technically select the services that you would want a part of it to give somebody access. Now, multiple blueprints create a project profile. So here you can see 3 project profiles. So for an example, a project profile called SQL Analytics. Now, what does this has? It has a database. It has Redshift. Redshift is a petabyte scale data warehouse that AWS has, and a lakehouse catalog as well. Now, let's say for an example, you want to give somebody access only to, let's say, a lakehouse database. So you can create your own project profile and provide only that one blueprint. And then when somebody is creating the project, they would select that respective profile which you have created. So blueprint is the AWS resource that will be a part of the project profile, and multiple blueprints create a project profile. Okay. Bedrock, yeah, here, Anuj, please.
Just one confusion. So profile doesn't mean the user permissions, right? It is more associated with what kind of a project or you are implementing, right? So it is basically restricting the what kind of workload will be deployed, right? In what profile, right?
Exactly. So it is basically just the AWS tools that will be a part that you can use in when you select that specific profile. That is what a blueprint is. Think of it as just granular AWS services that could be a part of the project.
Okay.
And multiple blueprints make up a project profile.
Okay, cool.
Okay. For people from the who want to use AI, the foundation models, there are Bedrock models that will be available for you, which you can request access to based on your account that you would be using it. So here, for an example for you, these all wherever you see enabled are the one that is already enabled for you. If you would like to have access to other models which are not enabled, you can request access to them through this specific console itself. If you want to have Git connections, if you want to connect your code repo, so we have support for GitHub, GitHub Enterprise Server, GitLab, self-managed GitLab, and Bitbucket from a code repo perspective that you can integrate with. Amazon Q, which is the AI powered assistant that is available. It's the free tier is all available for you through the studio. If you want to add any custom tags from a cost allocation perspective or from your organization perspective, saying like environment is dev, something like this if you want to that. And the onboarded data, which we have already discussed about, where you can connect your existing AWS data sources. You can indeed do it later as well from a permission management, but if you want to do like your get your glue metadata already and which project that it will be a part of, who will be the owners, those all permissions you can provide from the console itself. So these are the settings and capabilities available from the domain perspective. Now let's move on to logging into the SageMaker Unified Studio. So please click on the domain detail. You will have a different domain detail for URL for you. Click on SageMaker and here click on sign in with SSO. Okay, provide the username, that will be your email ID that, and provide the password. Click on sign in. Okay, all should be able to see this page. Please give me a yes in the chat if you're able to if once you're able to reach to this point. Okay, thank you, Shiva. What about others? Are you able to reach to this point? Thank you, Vishal. Thank you, Anuj. Okay, so let's move forward. So this is your SageMaker Unified Studio URL, sorry, front page, where you will be able to see all the different products that you can get access to and work through this specific studio. So the first step that we'll do is creating a project, because everything that we will do in this studio will require a project. Click on Create Project and provide project name. So for this workshop, please provide the names that have been given in that help document. I'll name my first project as project underscore analytics, provide a business description. And for the project profile, please select all capabilities. We will require multiple tools out of here. And in all capabilities, if you click 12 more, you'll be able to see what all is part of these, what all blueprints are a part of this specific project profile. So you have EMR, you have serverless, you have Bedrock chat agent, functions, evaluation, all these things are a part. And other sub profiles which have lesser access. Click on continue. Here you can see a few details about that. It is using a default location for storing your files here. The retention project report is autosync and lakehouse database. So we'll create SageMaker, we'll create a lakehouse database where you'll be able to collate data from your multiple sources as well. We'll see in the work ahead. Please provide the same name which you're giving to this project. Click continue, hover down and just click create project. Now, while this project is being created, we'll create another project called project underscore ML. And this project can create itself in the backend, so you don't have to stay on that page. We'll again select all capabilities, continue. For the lakehouse database, we'll use the same name, project underscore ML, continue, and click create project. At the backend, what it does, it creates a CloudFormation template for you. So CloudFormation is one of the services which AWS uses for deploying your application as code. So infrastructure as a code, basically. So it creates a template and then it creates the resources. So you would be able to see notifications coming in as to what the service is doing periodically. So, Bashir, there is a when we started on it, when you would have clicked on it, there was a document that was available, something like this you would have got. So on this page on the left are these instructions which we are doing as a part of this workshop.
Hi, Anirudh.
Yeah,
One
yeah,
question.
Anuj, please.
Uh, so here project means something like what we put our code in one Git repo, right? This is corresponding to like that, or it's
So,
something more
so
abstract.
it is, yes. So it is multiple things. So it's a code also that you can think of. It's a data access also that you can think of, which will be given as per your project. It's the AI assets that you will create. So all the things that you would like to do as a part of the studio could be a part of one project. So not just the code. What I mean here is,
Okay.
Bashir, were you able to? Okay, thank you. So everything that I'm speaking or doing is from the same instructions that are there. Right now we are at the prerequisite step. Okay, so while this project is being created, I would request you that the second slide is a business use case. Please read that slide what we are doing. So here there is a food and beverage company which is seeing a decline in sales. So as it could be in your company where you are probably just looking at the iteration numbers, that why my iteration numbers are high, why my sales towards a specific region is not as per, let's say the west region is not performing as well as the east region. So here there are multiple user personas which you will have in your organization as well. So here, like Samantha is a data analyst and an engineer. She'll work on data related work for analyzing and creating tables, probably from different probably different tables to just get the data, accurate data. You have Xavier, who will be a data scientist and a GenAI explorer that will work on it. And you have a Sarah, who's a marketing executive. So she is working on specifically creating interesting campaigns that they can use and for to attract customers. And please go through this as to what we will do in each of these stages, where we'll be discovering data, analyzing the data, publishing data, uh, building an ML model, and a marketing campaign as well. So go to this page while your project is being created, and then we will move to the next. So both of my projects are active now. I believe should be the same for you as well, or would complete probably in just a minute or two. We'll just take 2 more minutes while you read that use case, and then we'll start with the project underscore analytics. Okay, I hope for everyone the projects are created. Please give a yes or thumbs up, please. Chat. Okay, so let's click on first the project underscore analytics. Our first work here would be that we will try to understand the sales string and create a new data asset. First of all, let's see about the project success, here. So here is your project screen specifically where you will have all the project files that are added. So there are some which are created for you by default. These are default files. And when you will create new files, new project files will be added. And it is coming from this specific S3 location. So you have a specific README that is created for you where it will explain about all the features that are available as a part of the studio. This is your project name, a project ID, when it was last modified. So in case you update something in the project, the location, what is the status, active, updating. There's a domain ID. This is the same domain we had created initially. What's the date time and date of creation? There's a project role ARN. So this role becomes one of the very important part of the project, because when we talk about when we will be giving some fine-grained access permissions from here or outside this console, let's say we have a service in AWS called Lake Formation, which is also one of the key services which are used for fine-grained access control. Then this project role would become very essential in that. And description that you have added and what is the project profile name that you do. Along with this, there are project profile parameters that were there, and what are the some JDBC connection details as well. Now here at this point from this project details, on the left pane, you will be able to see different types of actions that you can perform or features that are available. So when it comes to managing your data or finding your data, you'll have the data. You have compute to add multiple different services as a part of your project, as we had seen in the project profile. So right now you can see something like as Athena that is there, which is a serverless query engine on AWS. You want to add different EMR clusters over here. So you have Glue that is available, which is again a serverless ETL service. You have Hyperpod clusters from ML perspective. From ML perspective, you have ML spaces for integrated development environment, your different tracking servers, and for orchestration and managed Apache Airflow. Members of your project, indeed, you might feel that there are too many details here. You would not need everything at once, but this is just an overview of what project gets and once you create that. Project catalog, we'll explore it ahead because that's an important section I want to stress more on. So let's start with the steps as given in the document itself, where we would be going through about understanding the sales string. So please over to the 1.1 section where we discover the organization assets. For the first step, please click on Amazon Q on the top right. So Amazon Q is the GenAI powered assistant. Here you will get don't allow and continue. Please click on continue here. This will be important. And what we're trying to do here is we're trying to find data. So there, as I said, there are some tables which are already created as a part of this workshop. So let's say I want to find, and there is somewhere there is a sales table that is available. So I ask a question where I can find data about my sales. And it provides me multiple tables that are available as a part of your sales that it can find. Now there is an LLM that is trying to find this information based on your metadata itself. It does not seize your actual data, just it tries to find that where are my resources that are they present based on the question that somebody is asking. So here we'll click on retail sales performance analytics. Now, once you click in, you will see here at the top that this is a specifically an asset here. Now, what are assets? Think of asset as represent assets specifically represent specific type of data resources. It could be database tables, it could be dashboards, or it could be ML models. It could be coming from of any of a service like AWS Glue or Redshift. So here, this is a specific asset that you are using, which is nothing but technical metadata, but along with business metadata as well. Here you can see that this is a part of a customer insights DB, and this the table name is actually sales data that you are that we had just clicked on the retail sales. So what it does here is this queue is able to help you with the data discovery. Organizations struggle in the fact that they have data across thousands of tables, and if you have not categorized them well, with less information around what the data is about, or the developer is not adding it, then it becomes difficult for somebody to find the data. So data discovery becomes an essential part when you're building a unified data platform, which is what the service is trying to provide here. Now here, this is in this, you would be able to see your data quality. Data quality is one of the most essential things, because if your data is unclean, you have metrics that are missing or important things that are missing. So let's say somebody is missing a name section, which is mandatory for one of the business use cases, that becomes a problem. So data quality becomes an essential part. So we have data quality as well integrated in the asset section as well. Now, from this specific point, what we're going to do is we're going to move back to once you're able to see the sales data. As I mentioned, we can get the schema. What are the schema information that is there? Business metadata, that is the summary of it. In our next section, we will create a new table and we'll create the summary, and where you will see the summary is created using an LLM. You don't have to write it. It will create that for you by just seeing your metadata. Okay. Now, let's go back to the build section. So build section is the one where you will have people working primarily from the developer's perspective, where you have IDE and applications. The above section you can think of from the data perspective, where you have a query editor, you have visual ETL jobs where you can define a visual workflow from a source to a destination. You have orchestration tools available here. You have machine learning pipelines. You have data processing jobs where you can just submit your scripts. And there is Jupyter notebooks, which are, I'm sure many would have already heard about it. You have machine learning and generative AI. So this is the section for app development, model development, and AI ops. Now here, you on the left, click on the Lakehouse. So as I mentioned, Lakehouse database is the one which can integrate multiple data sources and bring it into one single unified platform. So you have something as a AWS data catalog, which I mentioned in the start is the Glue data catalog, and the databases that created. And here you would be able to see your sales data. So all you have to do is click on the three dots and click on preview data. And here it is using Athena. As I mentioned, it's a serverless query engine, which on backend runs Apache Trino, and it's able to query that data. The data is sitting in Amazon S3. Glue has created the metadata over it, and Athena is using to query it. So this becomes as I said, a unified consumption platform that your analyst can actually use to go through your data. Along with this, it also provides you a table view or a chart view. So think of it as in-place visualization that you get. So let's say you run a join query across tables and you do not want to use any BI tool specifically for just a small visualization. You don't want to run something, let's say, on creating a charts through Matplotlib. So you can just do an in-place visualization here from this order available here. Of course, as I said, you can have an BI tool that you can use extensively, but it's available here as well. Now, here, if we go back to the sales data, you are able to preview the data, copy name, generate SQL. So you can check the table DDL, an insert command or drop command, drop table or refresh. This becomes your data pane, where you will be able to access your organization data, which have already been categorized and the metadata has been created. Now, yeah, somebody has a question?
And we are not able to see this preview option or when I'm clicking on these three dots.
Can you please share your screen once?
Yeah, one second.
Yeah, it is Athena Sudeep.
Yes, it is. This is the correct
Yeah.
one.
No, you are on the Jupyter Hub. You are not on the query editor. Go to build actually. Go to build. Click on query editor on the second data analysis and integration.
Okay. Okay. Yes.
Yeah. Now click on the three dots. That's it.
And how
So
these tables are discovered here in this project? Like they are in.
they are a part of the glue catalog. So as a part of the workshop, they are already created for you in the backend just to get a head start, and they were already categorized, cataloged into the glue metadata, which are coming here. So in your organization, you will have your own glue catalog that you would be getting it into the lakehouse.
No, but what I'm asking is there must be like in the real situation there must be hundreds of tables, right?
Yeah.
Now, how this project discovers that what all tables are need to be discovered in this project? So that association must be somewhere, right?
So there is the permissions that you have to provide through lake formation if you have enabled lake formation in your organization.
Okay. Okay.
But as I mentioned, when we were doing that onboard your data, so
Mhm.
if you click on it, so everything in your glue catalog would eventually come into the lakehouse.
Oh, okay.
All you have all that you have cataloged.
Okay. Okay. This part right on road data.
Yes.
Cool. Thank you. Sorry.
Yeah, sure. Is it the same as? Yes. So Unity Catalog is proprietary to Databricks for metadata for cataloging the data. So we, for on the AWS side, it's the AWS Glue Catalog. Okay, let's go back to. So the next section is that once you have your data, and let's say you want to use something like a text to SQL capability, and you have a prompt that you want to provide it. So there are some prompts that are provided. Here, I'm using back to Q and I'm asking a question. So what is Q doing is it's trying to understand, okay, which tables could be associated with this term, with the question that you have asked, and then provide you a query there, and that you can just add into your query book and use it. So somebody who is not aware of running a SQL command probably at a higher level, who just want to understand the data and use NLP queries, that's where this can come into. This can come as an important, very important feature. Okay, so you get the query. Here you have the option to add to your query book, and then click on the run cell. So it understood that where the data could be actually residing and found that the sales data, then created from which DB it is, and then created the query. And then if you want to modify it something, you want to change it, of course, you can just provide a different prompt. Like as I said, next, can you change the query to show the first 5 countries instead? So it will understand that what you have actually given above and then change the query accordingly. So the system understands eventually. Back to query book and click. And you have the 5. Okay, so this was a section from data analysis. I hope everybody has reached this point. If you haven't, let's take 2 minutes and then we'll move to 1.2. Okay,
Hey,
let
I have one
yeah,
question. That, like,
please,
what is the
please.
difference between this Athena and Redshift?
So Athena is a serverless ETL engine to run the queries. Like you can get probably a SQL query editor you can do in. But Redshift is the data warehouse. It is Athena is only running your queries which are let's say so on a data lake or on a federated source. But when you think of a data warehouse where you would deal with data to a data modeling, you have facts and dimension tables, that's when a warehouse can come in. So anything that you will do a complex querying, complex SQL analytics, that's when you do it on a data warehouse. So that is the difference.
Okay, thanks. Got it.
Okay, let's move on to the next section. So please click on 1.2. There is a place that you have to download a Jupyter notebook. So go to the build section. Now we will be just analyzing data and creating a new table that would be joined using your data, which is in your data lake, that is and your data which is stored in Redshift managed storage. So Redshift as a data warehouse has a capability where you can separate compute and storage with each other. So that is what we will be using into, and it has some data. We'll be using that to query the data and create a new table. So please download that notebook into your laptop. Okay, if you have third-party cookies blocked, probably it will not open. Like I had blocked, so you'll have to allow those cookies. Okay, on the left, you can just click on the upload option and upload the notebook that is there. You would have got as I mentioned, 1.2, you have the download notebook option. On the left, you should be able to see the notebook here. Now, as you can see here, you have the Jupyter Lab, where you would be able to do multiple things where in terms of the data that is, you can hover to the data. You have different kernels that are available. You can also integrate this with your own VS Code also that you would, if you would like to use it. You have, you can associate that with a Git repo. You have the Q coding assistant here. So if you want to do some vibe coding here, you can just add the question, ask instructions, and it can just create the code for you, which you can just specifically paste it and then create your application. Now, at this point, we'll just open the notebook. So what we are doing in this notebook, as I mentioned, that we will be joining tables from different data sources through the lakehouse and then create a new table. So please go on and run each cell individually. Please read through it as to what is the business context and what it is doing and what each step is doing. So first step initializes your development environment with your libraries and Spark session. So I'll use a Shift Enter, or you can just click on the plus option. What it does, just create some certain configuration that we'll be using to create a Glue ETL session. So here I am just using Spark to initiate a session here, Glue session. Takes a bit of time because in the backend it is creating interactive sessions for you. The first step, we had just initialized the properties. And you can see that this is a one-of-a-kind interface where you can have a different kernel for each of your different commands that you do. So you could be running something on a PySpark. When you want to use a SQL editor, you can use SQL. You want to use Scala Spark as well, you'd be able to use Scala Spark. And based on the compute that you add. So this compute was created for you in the start of the workshop. But if you, as I mentioned, if you have something like, let's say, an EMR cluster that is running, you'd be able to get that compute here. You have something as the EMR Kubernetes cluster running, you'd be able to get that compute there and then run the command on the compute of your choice. As a part of this project, we're using Glue. So right now, if your kernel is busy, you'd be able to see on the right, the kernel is busy. Once this circle gets empty, then we're gonna just run the next command. Okay, so once it's done, you should be able to see a Spark UI and the driver logs link as well, which you can open it. If you are clicking on it, please make sure there are no pop-up blockers. If it's there, please enable. Okay, so the first step is we'll just go through, if you have worked on Spark, you would be aware about this command of show databases. So we are just listing out all the available databases in our Glue catalog. Now we are just specifically going through all the tables that are available inside our customer insights DB, because this is what we'll use the sales data. We'll just read some records. So these are normal SQL commands that you're doing through Spark SQL. So here you are able to see the data. The next step is to see the databases in the Redshift managed storage. So as I mentioned, the purpose of Lakehouse is to unify your data lake and your data in your warehouse. So to avoid any data silos. So why data silos? The organizations have some data in your data lake, some data in your warehouse. Probably they are probably could be duplicate data as well, or the data is not, you're not able to work along the data. So you need something in your warehouse to query a table, which requires something from your data lake. So that's why it is bringing the capabilities of both the interfaces at one single place. Now, once we are able to see this, we will move into show data tables in our federated. We would be basically, when we are running this, at the end, we will be creating a joined table. Now there's we run a query from a promotions table just because it's a cold start file, it issues a Redshift connection. So you can see that each of the details that your queries that you're running, you're able to see the Spark UI right in place, or you can also see it in the Spark UI link that you would have got at the start of the page when you have created the Glue session. Okay, and then we just view the promotions table. And the last would be that we are joining the two tables. So you can see you have a customer insight sales data. So this is data that is sitting in your data lake, and you are joining it with the Redshift managed storage data that is sitting in your Redshift, and doing a group by. We are creating a new temporary final table, and then we are creating a new table called sales table enriched campaigns using the temporary table that we have created based on the query that we have done. Query is done, and we'll just view the data from the table that we have created. And this is the table that's a joint. So this would complete the second exercise of creating a table which is joined from multiple things in our lakehouse. I'll give a couple of minutes for everybody to be at this point, and then we'll start with 1.3. Okay, everyone has completed. Just can you give a yes or a thumbs up till this point?
I faced the exception. I will do.
So was it did it got created twice for you?
Yeah, something happened. It's saying duplicate. Like already existed.
Okay, can you just go to the build and query editor and just see if you are able to see a project underscore analytics database? You should be, if you can see the table. So I can see that in my, if you're able to see that, then I think it got somehow, you have probably may have double clicked.
In project analysis, I am seeing one table, sales table enriched with campaigns. Is
Yeah,
that
so that's, yeah, that's great. So I think somehow it got double click for you, I think.
okay?
Okay, for everyone, please navigate to build query editor. And if you click on Lakehouse data catalog, you should be able to see the table under the database project underscore analytics, because this is what we had created. Now, just quick view, click on preview the data. And you're able to see the data. However, right now, this data, this table is in your own project. You are the data producer of this table. What if you want to share this to somebody else? So let's say you're coming, a marketing team is coming to you that, hey, I want access to this data. Now you cannot give marketing team the access to entire of your 6 tables. That's not how organizations work, because you want to make sure that you give access to the person only based on their requirement. Now, this is where the assets, data assets are going to come in, which we discussed, which are resources such as could be database tables, along with the business information that we will add. So click on project analytics here on the top, click project catalog and click on assets. I'm sorry, no, click project catalog, click on data sources. So what we are going to do is, right now, our data source is nothing but the Glue catalog that is available in your account. Now, right, because we have created this data as a part of your own account, it is not visible as assets right now, because assets are synchronized based on a refresh that we have to do on the data source. So data source is again nothing but coming from your Glue data catalog. So you should have something, click on project analytics, project catalog and data sources. Here you will have something as an account ID dash your data catalog. Please and there would be 3 dots. Click on run. So right now you can see it's running and you can see an asset name that's created. So technically we had our data in our lakehouse in the glue data catalog, but it was not published as an asset. To do that, we refreshed our source. So think of it as a synchronization that happened between your own database and your assets inventory. Now here, since we now have our data, please table, click on it. Here you would be able to see this asset, but right now we don't have any information on the summary. In the start, when we had sales data, we did add some summary. So what we will do is click on generate descriptions. Now what this generate descriptions will do, it is going to use an LLM on the backend to understand the schema of your system and then create some information around it. If you are not happy with the metadata that it generates, you can of course change it. But here it is only reading your metadata, your schema, and creating a summary about it. So here you can see it generated me a summary. I can edit it, accept it, reject it based on my requirement and my organization. So I'll click accept. And here it is saying that it is automatically, you can accept all this option. So when you click on accept all, it generates an information on the schema as well. People do not provide descriptions when they're probably in a rush or they're just creating something for test. But eventually, if you do not know what is the description about this data, how will somebody from the business end understand? Because they are not technical. They understand the business terms, but not the exact technical terms. You want to add a README files, you want to add any glossary terms, so you can add here the terms. So these terms are nothing but the actual business terms about which you will use when you are sharing this data. So at the start, we saw data discovery. Now we have data being published as assets, and somebody will discover this specific data. So here, what we are doing actually, we are taking data as a product. Now, I hope descriptions are created for everyone.
I just want to clarify the definition of
Yeah.
assets, right? This is something we are creating kind of, let's say, some kind of documents, right? Which will be shared to different consumer of these data table, right?
So it is not documents. It is basically your the tables and the resources that are available in your account.
Yeah, but we are publishing means they will discover, let's say, now in your account, if you want to consume this data, right? And I publish this as assets, right?
Yes.
This will be by some means will be discovered to you, right? And then you will consume the tables, right?
Exactly. Yes. However, it's a publish subscribe model. When you publish it, somebody has to request access, which is where the fine-grained access control will come into the picture.
Okay.
And this is all managed through something called as a SageMaker catalog, which is a part of the Unified Studio.
Okay.
Okay. Now, yeah, Yetu, please you have something.
Yeah, so basically when we created the domain, so that time we unchecked the glue catalog, right?
Yeah.
So now we published. Let's say
Yes.
if we keep that checkbox, so the people can access this particular data, right?
So you see in this project, if somebody is a part of this project itself, they can. But if somebody is a part of another project that is coming in, they can discover, but they can only access once the permissions are provided. Okay. Yes, this is coming from your glue catalog itself. So data is of course coming from there, but we have added much more of business information now inside this. If I see this data, this is again my technical data is only. This has no information on what this table is, what the information is. This is just normal columns. But how will a business person understand this? Let's say you're sending it to the C-suite. How will they understand what it is about? Which is where we are using something as assets, which are nothing but the same resources, but with a business context. and works at a publish subscribe model. Is it clear? No?
Okay.
Okay. Now, and once we have added the details around it, all is ready. So data quality will come from your Glue data quality. So Glue data quality is again one of the addition in AWS Glue where you can provide the parameters. So as we had given in that sales table, which you would have seen in the start, here also we have to define that quality. You have lineage if it is for the data lineage. This again uses the open lineage in the backend. And then history of the table schema we have already seen. Asset filters we will see. And click on publish asset. And then publish. Once published, then only it is discoverable. Now, it is difficult for anybody to just publish one table at a time. So what are we going to do is we're going to create something as a data product. So on here, just come back to your assets here. Click on create a data product. So think of data product as multiple assets being added into one single entity. I'll name it as sales and reviews, product sales and reviews for tables for sales. Choose assets. Here I'll first look at product underscore reviews table. So product review insights. If you see a different name, just look at the technical name that we will be using. So we would need from the product underscore reviews. So select choose this and then find the sales tables that we have created. You can do a find as well. Here is the enrich. Choose here, click, and then click create. So you can see that this data product, which is a combination of multiple assets. So technically, if somebody is, as I said, if somebody from HR department is coming for data where they would like to view the salary, but probably not the social security number or not the identification number, then you can share them these tables along with the filters that you would like for them to add it, which will add an asset filters. But you don't have to give table by table. It is all at once you create a data product out of it. And you can create hundreds of data products. Here are, as I mentioned, the glossary terms will come in metadata terms. So these would be business terms. So something like the viewing, restricted, access, confidential, things like this you can add in the terms and give access based on those terms as well. Now, once our data product has been created, let's move on to the next section where we will now use this data to create a machine learning model. I hope everybody has reached till this point of assets creation and a data product creation. Now, let's move on to the new project. Click on that icon on the very left. Click on project underscore ML. Here you have this same overview which we had for project underscore analytics. And the first step we will use is data discovery. Click on discover on the top. Click on catalog. And here browse what you see in front is right now a SageMaker catalog where you are able to, as I said, define assets, define data products, do data discovery, data sharing from one single portal. Once it's not able to. Okay, did not publish it. Let me just check if I had published it correctly. Okay, I had to publish it. So once I create the data product, I hadn't published it. Apologies. So go back to your project analytics and click publish on the right. If you have done it, great. Now, once I've published, I'll go back to recent projects. projects_ml, discover my data in catalog, browse data products. And now you can see that. So here there are multiple filters that you can apply, that if you have multiple hundreds of projects here and it will be difficult for you, you can select which project that it owns through, and you can select that project, because that project can tell you, hey, I have published that, select my project, and you can find the data product here. And now click subscribe. You can see both the assets that you had added at the analytics side. Subscribe. This will not require approval because it is a part of the same project itself and part of the same domain that we are actually using it. So in case if it would have been a different domain, then of course the access would be required and approval would be required. But because it's a member of the asset owning project, because I'm using my same user, which is why no approval. Sales data and click subscribe. Now, once you click subscribe, you can see subscription approved. Now let's go back to the project_analytics. Click on assets on the left. You can see published ones are the one we have done. Click subscription request and click on approved ones. Here you can see that you have approved this subscription. Now the data discovery, permission management. Now tomorrow, if you want to revoke it, you give somebody access and say, okay, I do not want this now, they do not require the access. Click on revoke and their access would be taken away. Now, I had mentioned you about one thing, which is about the fine-grained access. Let's review it. You don't have to do this step. Just watch me do it. So let's say you have a table, you have customer IDs, full name, date of birth, gender, regions, and you want to apply a filter. So what you can do, click on an asset filter, and what you want to apply. So this is the fine-grained access which we have been speaking from the start about, which the system can give to you, and you can decide on when somebody is requesting for access of your data. You want to restrict at a column level. I do not want to show all the columns, so I only which columns I want to remove. I only want to keep these columns. And then I can create a filter. So once I create this filter, now when somebody will request for a permission, I will apply this filter to them on their name, that only give access to the ones which I have given as a filter. Now it could be at the row level also. So I will have to select a row. I'm selecting that the gender equals not equals male. So this is a filter that people will be only able to see the data based on the filter that you apply. Hide value or show value, and then create that. So these asset filters will come into the picture when you are actually approving a subscription request. Here we couldn't get that because it's a part of the same user who's creating for both of them. But this is where the fine-grained access comes into the picture. Now let's go back to the ML project and go to the data section. See the fine-grained access. When you had done the project_analytics for the same user, you were able to get 6 tables there. You can still go back and check, but here you're only able to see the 2 tables which were approved as the assets. So as the data product, because those data product had 2 assets. So this is where fine-grained access is coming in, that even if I'm putting an asset filter or the table that I'm giving access to, then only the organization is able to use it or the team is able to use it, else they would not be able to use that. So a data producer was the one which had access to all the tables, and you had a consumer which have access to only the tables that the producer is providing. Just you can click on preview data. So on the back end, it provided that fine-grained access for you automatically from one centralized platform. You did not have to hover over 3 different places to provide access. It was done through just publish subscribe model, and the system took care of everything in the backend. Now, once the data discovery is completed, let's move on to the next section, that is 2.2, where we will build a machine learning model. There are two Python files. There is one Jupyter notebook and there's a lab_utilities.py. Please download that into your system. So you would be able to see the screen here, 2.2. Please click on these two and download these two notebooks. Okay, once you have uploaded, please open the ML model development file and make sure that you're in project_ML when you're doing it, not project_analytics. Here also, similar to the previous section, we're going to do some data preparation. So we're going to query some data. We will transform it using in some SageMaker algorithms, train a small model, and then predict the sales for next year for some top 5 products. For those products, we'll be creating a marketing campaign. So this section first, please go through it clearly. So please remember, when you had created the project and you had created the project_ML, and you had provided the DB name, this was the DB name that I had provided. I hope you have also provided the same one. I am getting some error. I probably have done some mistake, certainly. And now it's going through. So for DB, let me just see. I have done some mistakes, certainly. Let me go through it. It's project_ML. Is somebody else also getting the error on the first cell?
Module not found. Lab utilities.
Okay, so please upload that lab utilities. It's a.
I uploaded. Are you expecting different error? I mean, you were asking, right?
No, I was getting a different error. So
Okay.
1 second, let me quickly check now. Just re-uploaded my notebook. Yeah, now it's going. So I just have changed. I changed something. Please check on the left that you are able to. 1 second. Okay, just wait for it to initialize. On the left, you should see the ML model development and the lab_utilities.py file. And now it's. So here in this, we will be using some SQL commands to probably to query some data, and we are using something as an Athena work group. and then use a function to execute. So basically, we are running a query from the table that we had already initialized on the top. The database, the output location where we have to save the data because Athena requires an output location, and then some checks while we run the query. So Athena workgroup is nothing but just an isolated environment where you can actually run your and manage your queries for separate users, team, and applications. If you want to do it individually, when you go to the Athena UI, it will be the default workgroup that it is. Okay, and then let's run the query. So execution started and query ran. Now we'll prepare our data which we will be using in. Some few parameter initialization. Please read this, that what we are doing in this before you run that cell to understand. Actually, the purpose is not to just run the workshop, but understand as well that we are doing. People comfortable with ML, they would be able to understand a train value test that you're doing some variable initialization. The data is again coming through your tables. We did a training evaluation here. You will have the notebook again. If somebody is not aware about this, you will have that notebook. You have it in your laptop. You would be able to go through that.
So what we are trying to like model training here, what we are training here.
So basically, we are trying to have about the 5 products where we predict that we can get the most amount of sales in a specific region.
Okay.
So here we found the 5 items, like from the sample data set that we are using in this workshop. Some forecasting in terms of predictions. And last is about using a prompt that we'll be using for our GenAI. So there's a base text and something that there's a prompt that you will get at the end. So there are 5 products that we are doing it. Organic breakfast cereals. So you may be getting something different. Or if you have the same thing that you will have this 5 prompts. So for any one of these products at the very end of this complete the output, please copy this. We would require it into our next section. So just use any text editor that you like for saving this. I have used it for organic breakfast cereals. You want to use it for some other product, feel free to do it for whichever product that you're getting on the screen.
And can you just in like few sentences, can you explain the workflow? Like we generate the data, right? We do the data messaging, we filter the data, right? Then we input it into the ML project, right? Now then we are doing some training on this, right?
Training and forecasting.
Okay, and then where now the GenAI comes here, I'm like,
so we are generating the prompts for which we'll be generating a marketing campaign. So based on the products that we have extracted, the top 5 products, we're preparing a marketing campaign. So think of it, we'll have a HTML file of a web page that will generate it. So for that, we are just generating the prompt right now. So this prompt we will use in the next section.
Okay. I'm a little confused. What's the purpose of model training here? We're just extracting the data, right? But what's the model training purpose here?
So based on the products and then the sales across a specific region, we're only forecasting that which top 5 products can become our most sellable item. Okay. So that is only the part of model training. Very simple, only just 5 products extraction.
Okay.
So here I got multiple items, so I just chose the top 5. Okay, once I hope everybody has reached till the end of this file where they have got the prompt, please copy for any one single of this and keep it in a text editor. Now, Let's move to the section 3 actually. So where we'll be generating targeted marketing campaigns. Please go through that what we will be doing in this. So we'll use some foundational models to develop a web page as well as data for the campaign, and some images that we will generate again from some foundational models for the campaign as well. Here we are actually using a Bedrock IDE for this purpose, which is a platform where you can develop enterprise-grade GenAI applications. You have multiple foundation models across the industry for Anthropic or Titan or the Amazon-based Claude models. So you have many models across the foundation model which are available. And if you can bring your own model as well. So please move to the section 3.1. Please make sure that you're in project_ML itself for this work. So go to generative AI. Sorry, in the discover section, in generative AI, you have a chat playground. So please select the chat playground. Select the model Nova Pro. This models, please remember, when we had first created the domains, we had some models which were already enabled for us. These are the same models that we are using. So here you can see you have multiple models that you can use in which you have access to. So we have from Meta as well. We have the Anthropic ones. We have the Amazon ones as well, which are the Nova series. Click on Nova Pro. We are using Nova Pro for this workshop. And please copy the prompt that you had used in. So I copy my prompt here, provide a prompt that what is required from this specific one. So creating a personalized marketing content is what I want as an output from this specific model, where we have a headline, social post, and this is the output of this campaign. We will use it while we create the campaign HTML file. Whoever works on GenAI, they'll be, of course, being aware of this prompting technique for the input that provide to the LLM. Now, once you run this, you should have this complete campaign ready for you. Please copy this into a text pad. We would require it into our next section. So I have done it for breakfast cereals. If you have done it for some other product, that's fine as well. Now, once our text is ready, the next step is to create images for the campaign. So on the left itself, click on images and video. Select the model Nova Canvas. You can keep the prompt as it is. Feel free to explore these options as well. And in the prompt, we would be inserting our own product here. So you would please copy the prompt that has been provided to you in the help section. So I paste that prompt, but in here I would be just changing the name. So if you see here, there's an insert your choosing product. Here I am just doing organic breakfast cereals. This is the product that I am adding. So what it does, we're again telling them that we need an aesthetic image, soft shadows, high resolution, and sharp details, because these are the images we will use in our campaign. So again, we have just provided a prompt as to what we want, and it will generate some images for us. I have kept right now for this all the parameters as default, but feel free to do that. So just once my images are ready, please download that. So if you click on the 3 dots, you can download it. Please download any 2 images and save it in your laptop. You can, of course, customize it later if you want to, by removing objects or replacing background, replacing objects. All these techniques are available. Now, since our images are ready, our campaign statement is ready. Now is the time to just generate the final file, which we will be sharing to our customers. Go back to the chat playground on the left and select Nova Pro once again. And here, copy the prompt first from your specifically in your file. So here there are two things. There is a image names that have been provided. Do one thing for now. Just keep these names itself. Don't change it. Below this marketing campaign content, we have to paste what you got in output 3.1. So at 3.1, when we use the Nova Pro, we were able to generate a full marketing content. All we would require to do it from the personal hook, like I had done for serials. So just copy paste that same content. So here we are telling it your job is to produce a clean static HTML page. And what the page is about is this information that we have providing when we had first ran in the previous section. So once you do it, it will give you the complete HTML file for you. Please see we have given the images as well, and it creates something from the campaign and just share. Once done, there's a copy option at the end. So please copy that and go back to the build menu. You can open it in a new tab if you want to. I'm opening it in a new tab. Under the build section, go back to Jupyter Lab because we have to interpret this HTML file ultimately. So we need an IDE for that. In this notebook, I'll first create a new folder called campaign because I will. Here, first of all, please upload the two images that you have used. You have, sorry, used, I mean, you have downloaded it. Okay. Once the images are downloaded, please click on File at the top, New, and a text file. And in this, please paste the HTML content. Save the file. I am saving it as campaign.html. You can put the save Control S or Windows S if you're using a Mac. Rename and save. Click on overwrite. But right now for it to work, I have to provide the image's name. So you will have the image name in the section here specifically. So just over down line number 47 for me, where it says generated image. Now my image name on the left is not the same name. So I'll just simply rename this as, just for simplicity, img1.png and rename to img2.png. And same in the HTML, I will change that to img1.png. And in the last line, for me, last third line, img2.png. Save it. And then one second. I'll rename this first as campaign thing. Dot. Okay. Now once I open it, I'm able to see a full marketing campaign package page that is created for me with testimonials and all this. Remember, it is all from the prompts that we had provided that's created. And this is the last section which. So we caught the products from the forecasting model. We used some prompts to be generated. We used that prompt to generate a specific marketing information, then use that prompt to generate images, and then create an HTML file, everything through the Nova Pro model to give me an HTML file where I could have my pictures as well as a proper campaign. So this is something which you can then share your customers based on a specific region. So we have forecasted for the Europe region. That's because that's a place because this product is most sold. I hope everybody is able to reach till this point. So again, I'll just repeat one last point in this. In the HTML file, whatever images you are uploading in that current working directory, you will have to replace the name of it based on your image name. Else it will not render you. Suppose I change it to image3.png and I save it and I try to open, I can see the image is not coming. So the image is the same name that you have in your current working directory. So think of everything that we have done from the very start now. Sarah came in as a data analyst. She tried to find the data. She tried to search for the data. She saw, okay, I have data in the sales data, but then something I have in my Redshift. The concept of lakehouse came in. Data analysis she had done using the query editors. So here in your company, there is an analyst that is coming in and doing it. They found the data. They said, okay, data is across these two, but I want to join it. Then a developer came into the picture. They used Jupyter Lab to check the data and create a join query using Spark SQL, which is again a processing tool, which is one of the most used in the industry for big data processing. I use that to create different tables. Now, because I'm the producer, but somebody else is the consumer, then I published my data as assets, use the publish subscribe model to give access to somebody only for what they wanted to. That is where the concept of the SageMaker catalog came in, our assets came in, our data products came in. Now this, once it was published, it was used by Xavier, who is again one of the data scientists, to create a machine learning model and then to create a GenAI application as well. So the entire stages of the life cycle of a data product or a business problem you can think of was solved using one single unified tool, rather than going through across multiple tools, which was one of the main points of the customers who are using AWS, that AWS is a lot of tools, you have everything, but we have to navigate across multiple UIs, which is when this unified layer came into the picture. Okay, I take the question, are there any guide or production from such thing from IAC and fully automated pipeline? Indeed, there are, so I don't have a guideline as such, Anuj, but there are indeed IAC codes that are present with CloudFormation and Terraform, where you can deploy this entire structure through just your CloudFormation templates. So that is certainly available. Okay. The pipeline step, again, you have to stitch it based on what you are using in your current company.
Okay. Is it possible to share some sample pipelines, like, which we can refer and make it fully automated and redeployable? I mean, like, across the environments, something like that.
I will look and share it to that. I'll get. Can you just give me your email ID, please? I'll just share it directly to that, because I want to search it and get you the correct information. So this workshop is available for you till 4 o'clock. Thank you, Anuj. I'll just copy it and keep it, please. So this workshop is available till 4 o'clock. And if you want to try something more, do some more analysis, please feel free to do that. At 4, it will auto terminate. But go on and just explore what all things are available. We did not check the govern section, but that would come from somebody who's an administrator, where they would be able to provide more fine-grained permissions and same things which we have seen in the domain. And if you want to explore anything more, feel free to do that. Do a check on Visual ETL, what it does. As I mentioned, you're able to create something with just a visual interface and using, and also it has capabilities to do it through NLP as well. So let's say you want to say, create a data pipeline where we read data from Amazon S3 and write into Amazon Redshift after cleaning. Let me see. I hope this prompt works correctly. Let's see. So you see, created the pipeline for you. It understood what you are trying to do. Of course, here there would be certain different transformations that you would like to have on this. So you want to add some more sources. You want to use the built-in transform or your custom transform. You have the capability to do that. So you are able to create that pipeline right in that at one single console without having to go through to that. Anuj, if you can just share the feedback. So Abhishek, if you can give the feedback link before, please.
Yes, Anirudh, I have the link ready. Everybody who needs to drop right now, please share the feedback. It's really important for us to improve.
Yeah. Thank you so much, Anuj, for very prompting questions. And if you have any further doubts, please feel free to drop me an email. Yeah, sure, Yetu, please go
Yeah,
on. Please.
so it's not a doubt actually. It is like it is very thankful if you could share your LinkedIn profile.
Yeah, sure. I will share you my LinkedIn profile. This is my email ID if you want to have some questions and you want to have a connect with me or even just probably meet for a cup of coffee. I'm based out of Gurgaon.
Yeah. Thank you.
I'll just share my LinkedIn profile. Just give me a second.
Also, to the participants, we will try our best to publish some sort of a summary or again the feedback form in the meetup link from where you guys have subscribed for the workshop. And I'll be really it will be really helpful if you can provide the feedback. If you have any doubts, you can also post there, or you can also get in touch with Anirudh or our team through the meetup as well.
Just so this is my LinkedIn that you can connect with me on this. I wish you can stop. We can stop the recording, I think.
Okay, just a second.
Yeah. Anybody has any other questions, please? Please let me know so we can wrap this up. Please feel free to try something else if you want in the workshop. It's still available till 4 o'clock.